Well, welcome to the Jazz Jumpstart Show. I am so jazzed to have an amazing special guest on today. Let me just tell you, this special guest is just rocking it. And for those of you who have never tuned in into the Jazz Jumpstart Show, I am your host, Jasmine Romaine, and only at this particular channel, we jazz jumpstart things because this is how we do it up in here. And I want to make sure that you're not only speaking life, but you're also speaking business. So you can get out there, amplify your voice, and use your mic to be able to create a major change in the world. So on today, guess what? We are making moves because we have a very special guest. This special guest here is a high stakes performance coach, professional speaker, an award winning performer. Guess what, you all? He works with brilliant professionals who have to deliver clear, concise, and captivating presentations in high pressure situations. He's also the author of Speaking Notes, the 8 essential elements to make your speech music to their ears, and is the first Canadian born actor to play Mufasa in the Disney stage musical The Lion King. It is with pleasure and honor that I introduce to you all, world changers, Mr. John Watkis. Hello, John, and welcome to the Jazz Jumpstart Show.
Hello, Jasmine, and thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh my goodness, that voice right there definitely says Mufasa all the way there. Can you all hear it, world changers? My goodness. So, John, here you are making world changing moves, helping all of these brilliant professionals so they can be able to amplify their voice. Tell me a little bit about your journey and why you chose to help these brilliant professionals with their message.
It started for me a long time ago because I'm getting to be an old man. When I was in school in Toronto, most multicultural city in the world, we had people from all over, from Japan, from Czechoslovakia at the time, Jamaica, Trinidad, India, you name it. And we had classes that were English as a second language. And my parents, they're Jamaican, my grandmother's Cuban, so I have an island background. I'm the first generation Canadian. And what would happen is the Jamaicans who had come fresh from the island were put into English as a second language class because they had an accent with the people who didn't speak a word of English. So it was clear to me from the beginning that we were judged on our capabilities based on the way that we speak. And as I moved into business, I also saw that even the most intelligent people, if they weren't able to express themselves and share their point, people thought they sounded smart in terms of on paper, but didn't come across as being smart when they got in front of a group.
Mm.
So it's important that we learn how to speak clearly, concisely, and confidently so that our ideas are accepted, and also so that we're not judged as being incapable because of the way we speak.
Oh my goodness. Clear, concise, and confident, and not judged on how we speak. So, for that professional out there who is trying to get their message out there where it's clear and concise and really resonating to those individuals they're called to serve, how would you suggest that they, or maybe provide even some tips on how they can get their message across where it really allows them to have a message that's remembered in a such way that it's really clear and concise?
The key is to give as little information as possible. Here's the problem with brilliant people. They know a lot, and then they try to share everything they know. But the more information we get at once verbally is the more information we forget. And so we're often waterboarded or feel like we're drinking from a fire hose with the amount of information that we're given. So you want to do the opposite so that your audience remembers what you say, is give them maximum 3 main points and then go deep on each one of those points, giving an example, a statistic, an analogy, a quotation, so that the main points are reinforced. The more you reinforce the fewer points, the more likely your audience will be not just to remember, but then to respond to what you asked them to do.
Ooh, John, you hit a point right there because so many times individuals feel like, oh my gosh, I just got to let the whole world know all of this amazing information that I have. And I love that you said that less is more. That's almost like the acronym of KISS, like keep it simple, super person, right? So I love that you said less is more. So basically, they need to have three main points, right?
Three main points. We think in threes. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I came, I saw, I conquered. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, faith, hope, love. We speak in threes. It's a rhetorical device that is easy for us to remember. And so when we can concisely have 3 points, the audience is more likely to walk away with it.
Ooh, that's powerful right there. And you know what? I never even realized that. Like when it comes to like how you broke it down, when it comes to like even the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, like all of that together. Like we are in threes. Now I know, of course, that so many times when we're speaking, that people can retain so many information, but the way you just explained it and articulated it was just so powerful. World changers, type in the comments what you think about what he just said. Isn't that amazing with the 3 points? My goodness, that is awesome. So, John, I want to ask because in order for us to really get out there and improve our public speaking where we are feeling confident, what would you suggest to that person who doesn't know where to start and they want to start speaking? What would you say to that person?
Start wherever you can. Now, the most obvious place to start, although people might not know about it, is a group called Toastmasters. Toastmasters.org is a club, a worldwide club, where you can practice your speaking every single week. Now that we're in a virtual environment, or at least we're in a virtual environment as we're talking now, you have the option of visiting multiple clubs to find out which ones suit you best. And the reason I recommend it is every week you're given what is called a table topic. With your table topic, you don't know what's coming. You're simply told you have to speak for a minute. Here's your topic, go. And that gives you the practice, the repetition of speaking on the spot frequently. That's where I would start. Start reading presentations. Go to a website called AmericanRhetoric.com, where it has 100, or it has lists of the 100 top speeches in American history. And if you follow the pattern, you will see that each speech has a particular pattern that you can follow. So the more you listen to speeches, the more you practice speaking, the more you get into the rhythm. It's like any other discipline. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Now, of course, you need feedback, but where you start is getting out there and speaking as often as possible within mind why you're going to say what you want to say, and keep practicing every single day.
Ooh, keep practicing every single day. One of the biggest things that I loved about what you explained is that individuals have to get out there. And I believe that using voice is so important. It's almost like music, right? You find that tone, a beat, and when you find that tone, a beat, you're like, oh, yeah, that's it, right? Well, guess what, John? You are all about knowing about music. And even in your book, the 8 essential elements to make your speech music to their ears. I want to hear from your perspective because you're the author around here. When it comes to making your speech like music, how would you like explain that for individuals, these brilliant professionals, where they can have their speeches, their presentations to be like a melody like music? Because I know, hey, John, I start with music. This is the Jazz Jumpstart show here. So whenever I hear a beat, I'm like, yes, that's it. And I remember it. So tell me how you correlate that with speaking.
I'll tell you how it started, and that was a client asked me whether or not I played a musical instrument because I had written a speech for her. And she said she was told, if you're going to get a speech writer, make sure they're musical because a speech is written for the ear. So it has to have highs and lows in rhythm and timing. She didn't know that I played an instrument, but she could tell from my writing that I did. And so when I researched this, I found that just like a song, a speech has 8 essential elements. Let's take a look at the first one, the chorus. Every song has a chorus, and the chorus is what the song is all about. It's repeated time and time again. And so for your speech, you also have a chorus. Too many speeches, I'm sure you've had this, you sit down and you go, what are they talking about? And why am I here? And can I get my time back, please? Because there's no chorus. So the first key, every speech, like a song, must have a chorus that's repeated over and over again, even if said with different terms. And then if we want to understand why the chorus is being sung, we can always go to the verses. The verses go more in depth and give a better explanation of exactly what the chorus means. And then we have our hook. That hook, some people in the speech will call it the phrase that pays, but it's the one word or sentence that we remember and we say to other people. So for example, I have a dream is a hook. Johnny Cochran in the O.J. Simpson trial, for those who can remember, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. There's give me liberty or give me death. So we have hooks within a speech. And in the song is voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? You don't even have to speak French or know what it means. Once it comes on, you're going to sing it. So you want to create hooks in your speech so that the audience, and you know what Jazz said? And then they can quote you. So those are just a few of the elements that you would find within both a speech and a song, where you form them to be the same way. There are nuances as well, which I could go into, but I won't for time's sake. But you have to have at least a chorus and those verses that explain it, a hook so people can remember it, and one more, which is your pre-chorus. A pre-chorus is that little piece of music that takes you from the chorus to the verse or the verse back to the chorus. It lets you know you're moving from one section to another. And very often we listen to people speak and we can't follow them because they're not giving us a pre-chorus. We don't know where they went or how they got to where they are. So you have to have that little interlude in between so people know that you're moving from one place to the other. So those are a few of the elements that help you to create a speech that's like music.
Spoken like a performer, a music performer. I mean, the way you just captured that into music and hooks and choruses, but to also captivate the essence of really how to stand out as a speaker was phenomenal. You know, John, I was actually dancing. You all can't see us, but I was dancing in the background. I was like, "Boo, I miss you, I miss you." And I probably still say it wrong, but I was dancing in the background. But that's so important because as speakers, you want to have a standout message. So, whatever makes people remember you, that is key. And we all know choruses. So, John, I'm so happy you said that. Like, even for me, like, we had the song we were jamming before in the backstage with MC Hammer, can't touch this. And so, that was a song that resonates. So, imagine if your speech world changers said the same thing, had a rhythm that really sounded really great, as John so put it for each and every single one of you. Wonderful, John. I just love that. Now, John, I do want to ask, sometimes we can have these amazing types of speeches that have like these amazing hooks and everything. But you know what, John, sometimes you have people in the audience who are just sometimes like judging or sometimes even disagreeing with you even before you speak because they know what your mission is about. So, how would you tell a world changer, a brilliant professional, how to diffuse that tension so they can handle even those audience members that perhaps might be hostile or those who might just have something to say when it comes to their message?
So important, Jasmine, because a lot of times we like to preach to the choir, but we don't have to change the choir. The choir is going to say amen anyway. So when we get in front of those audiences who see from a different perspective or have a different feeling than we do, it's important to understand what their perspective is. What I learned as a speechwriter is that you can't just write what you know. or what you believe. You have to find out what's the other side of the argument. How do other people see it? Because if you can see what the other side of the argument is, then you understand it. If you only know your perspective, you only have half the information. So I consider it like playing a game of chess, checkers, or Connect Four. When I play those games, the way you win is that you don't just think about your own moves, right? You have to think about the moves that the other person is going to make, and you have to think about how they're going to respond when you move your piece. So every time you think, I'll put my piece here, you say to yourself, all right, what are their possible moves? You're literally putting yourself on their side of the board and now looking at it from a different perspective. That's the exact same thing you do with the information when you're about to present. And once you know what they're looking at, then you can say, I understand that this is one of the schools of thought. And you say their words exactly as they would say their words. Instant connection. And once you say the words, you can say, and I can see why you would see it that way, or I could see why many people have this feeling. Guess what? You have now just made them feel okay. You've endorsed their feeling. You've told them that they have a right, and it makes sense that they think the way they do. Here's another school of thought. And now they're going to be more open to hearing the other school of thought because you've already stated their school of thought for them. Otherwise, as you're speaking, they're going to be saying in their head everything that you should have said to begin with, arguing with you. So remove the argument initially by stating it and saying, hey, you have every right to have that feeling. Here's another way that I look at it. What you want to avoid is saying, but. Hey, this is your point, and I see this is your point, but because what that tells the audience is your point doesn't matter, so now I'm going to tell you what does. In improv, we learned that if you use the and, it continues the momentum forward. When you use but, it stops the conversation. So I understand your point, and I can see why you would feel that way. And here's another way of looking at it. And now you've created a bridge that takes them into the point of view that you want to have. And they can no longer argue with the point that they were thinking of because you already said it. And therefore it stops being an argument. It becomes an understanding and a conversation. So understand the other point of view. Sit on the other side of the board and get a good view. That way you can anticipate what your reaction of your audience will be and state it.
Wow. John, I mean, you are dropping not only communication gems so we can avoid communication crisis, but you're also giving us the psychology of all of this to really help individuals to avoid the fight or flight type of personalities and actually have a balanced conversation where even as speakers, because sometimes, you know, in elements that we're in, we can have different types of conversation. And like you said, when we say but, that means hold up, I'm still going to say what I but to have the I hear what you say and as another perspective. Words are powerful, world changers. This is exactly why it's so important to know how to speak life, but then know how to speak business. This is why John is here. He's helping you so you can speak business. So when you're speaking on stage, you can get out there and be as awesome and shine. Even if you're sharing your perspective, that others will still be able to have a conversation that has a beautiful melody and can still listen, even though views could be different. Thank you so much, John, for sharing that amazing value to the world changers. And world changers, just as well, drop in the comments one of the things that resonated to you the most in the conversation. I just want to see what you all are typing about just as well. You know, John, I just think everything about you is just amazing. From your voice to your swag to your performance type of genome. I love it. And I even love that you were in the Disney stage musical, The Lion King, playing as Mustafa. Like, tell me and tell the world changers how that journey came about.
I want to say it was by accident, but we know nothing is by accident.
Right.
At the time, I was speaking full time. I was traveling from city to city, and I can't tell you where I was coming from, but I was on an airplane and I opened the newspaper and there was an ad that said singers wanted for The Lion King. and said to bring 16, be prepared to sing a song, 16 bars a cappella. And it was 2 days. It was a Thursday night that I saw the ad. So I decided, hey, I'll just go try out. Why not? And when I got there, they told me my wait was going to be 3 hours. And did I have my music? I said, music? I thought this was a cappella. But hey, I had 3 hours. So I went to the music store and I bought some music. I bought my karaoke song. I just called to say I love you. And I went back to the audition and I sang it and they liked me. So one of the odd things was I first had to go into not the casting director, but someone who worked with the casting director. So she sent me over. I sang for her first, then she sent me over to Stephanie. So when I went into Stephanie, Stephanie looked at my resume and she goes, Watkis, do I know you? I said, no. She said, did you audition for Rent? I said, no, I've never auditioned for anything before. She says, but I know you. And then the light goes on. She says, wait a second, Watkis, do you know Joshua Watkis? I said, yeah, that's my son. Now my son was 3 or 4 at the time. She says, oh, this is fantastic. I hire Joshua for commercials all the time. Is he trying out? I'm thinking, no, but I'd like to. So it turns out the casting director had hired my son for commercials.
Wow.
And yes, small world. So after 2 or 3 more auditions, because they liked me that first one, they gave me a Mufasa script. Secretly, I wanted to be Scar. I actually like Scar. But they gave me a Mufasa script and I went with it. I came back and I did 2 more auditions and lo and behold, they hired me. So to this day, I just know that I walked in off the street and out of 5,000 people who auditioned, I was one of the 50 who was chosen for the show to be the original cast in Canada.
Oh my goodness, spoken like a mission-driven world changer, not even knowing the possibilities, but knowing that he belonged. Ooh, I love it, John. What a powerful story. World changers, that lets you know, like, no matter what, you can be able to just show up. And when you show up, your gifts will make room for you. So I love it, John. You know what, John? I feel like doing a little role playing. I mean, I have Mufasa's here. We can pretend I'm Simba-et, okay? So I'll be Simba-et, you'll be Mufasa. Let's just do a line together. I'll start us off. You just improv it however you feel. But let's start off. Remember, you all, I'm Simba-et because we have Mufasa who is here.
All right, let's see what I got left.
Let's see. This is awesome. Dad?
Yes, Simba.
We're pals, right?
Right.
And we'll always be together, right?
Simba, let me tell you something my father told me. Look at the stars. Those are the kings of the past looking down on us. So whenever you feel alone, remember that I am always with you.
Really?
Yes. Simba, everything the light touches is our kingdom. One day, my time will come and you will be the new king and all this will be yours.
Ooh, you got me so excited! Simba, change her voice that quick. That was dynamite, John. That was
Thank you.
You got me excited because talking about king. You know, I'm queen because I'm Simba-et, but hey, we're going to roll with it. But you know what? I loved it. Oh my gosh, world changer. Give him some emoji love in the comments. That was epic. I see why you were Mufasa. That is so amazing. John, you are an absolute world changer. And this is the only people we bring on the Jazz Jumpstart show. And that's truly who you are. I would love you to share last words to inspire the world changers who are tuning in. What would you like to say to them?
I would inspire them with the words of Mufasa. In the end, when he comes back to Simba and he tells him, Simba, you have forgotten me. You have forgotten who you are, and so have forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life. And I will leave you with the words of Miles Monroe, that potential is all that you can be, is all that you can do, but haven't done yet. All that you can be, but haven't become yet. How far you can go, but haven't gone yet. And who you really are, but no one knows yet.
Wow. You drop gems, world changers. Did you love John Watkis or what? You loved him. I'm going to just answer that for you. But you loved him, right? This is just absolutely amazing. John, you are truly a world changer. You know, before we sign off, I love for you to share with the world changers where they can find you and where they can connect with you. Please share with us.
I would like to say that I'm all over. I'm one of those people who's on social media, but not really. So you can find me on my website, of course, johnwatkis.com, or you can find me on Instagram at John Watkis, Twitter, John Watkis, and on Clubhouse. If you are on Clubhouse, John Watkis. I'm easy to find. I'm trying not to hide out. I'm hiding in plain sight. How's that?
I love it. And World Changers, you can also find all of his information in the description below. So make sure that you connect with John because he's dropping gems. He's helping individuals who are brilliant professionals where they speak their captivating messages. And he also can do some amazing Mufasa. So you just never know what you're getting out of John because he's so gifted, so talented, and he's truly a light. John, I thank you for being a part of the Jazz Jumpstart Show and for all the work that you do because you truly are a world changer. Thank you, John.
And Jasmine, thank you so much. I love being here because you are talented and brilliant and bring the jazz all the time. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And to all my world changers, I thank you for tuning in to the Jazz Jumpstart Show. You know, that's the only thing we do around here is jumpstart because I truly believe that when you are jumpstarting, you can get out there and make major moves. It is the energy that is within you, but a light that you can shine that's so bright that people say, my goodness, who are they? So go ahead and jumpstart your day and make sure you hit subscribe. And tell your friend to tell a friend to tell their friend. You better tune into the Jazz Jumpstart Show. What are you waiting for? Until then, I'm Jasmine Romaine, the host of the Jazz Jumpstart Show, and I can't wait to talk to each and every single one of you real soon, World Changer. I'll talk to you soon.